Hi everybody. So in this social studies unit, we're talking about celebrating America. You're going to be working in your social studies book. So go ahead and grab that, pause if you need to. And don't worry about turning to a page yet. I'm going to read from my book first. Okay, so today we're going to read about how does the Constitution help our country? Now, before we get into how the Constitution helps our country, we're going to learn a little bit about what the Constitution is. So again, this is in my book. You don't have this one. So just listen. The plan for our country. Long ago, the United States needed a plan for making laws. Leaders wrote the Constitution. The Constitution tells how our leaders should make laws. Our leaders should make laws that are fair. The Constitution also tells the people how to follow the laws. So the Constitution is a document, right? And this is a document about laws. It's a plan how to make and how to follow laws. Long ago, leaders wrote and signed the Constitution. So here's a picture of the Constitution. And here is a picture of the leaders. It's a painting, it looks like, who wrote and signed the Constitution. The Bill of Rights. So the Bill of Rights is part of the Constitution. The Constitution told how the government would work. Leaders also knew that the Constitution needed changes. These changes could be made in amendments. An amendment is a change in the words or meaning of a document. The first 10 amendments to the Constitution are called the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is a list of important rights and freedoms. It protects people in many ways. It is not easy to change the Constitution. Over time, thousands of amendments had been talked about. Today, the Constitution has 27 amendments. So here's a picture of visitors look at the Bill of Rights on display in Washington, D.C. And the First Amendment is about freedom of speech. So remember, the Constitution is a plan for our laws. It tells us what the laws are and how to follow them and who needs to make the laws that are fair. And then part of that is the Bill of Rights, and those are amendments or changes that were made. There are 27 amendments, and one of the amendments is the First Amendment, freedom of speech. The right to vote. Now, we've talked about voting before, right? Every American citizen who is 18 or older has the right to vote. A citizen must sign up in order to vote. It's called registering to vote. Then citizens learn about people who want to be elected. Voters have many ways to learn about people who want to be leaders. Voters can read and listen to speeches. They can use computers. People can talk and listen to others. Voters need to make good decisions. So remember, we talked a little bit about primary and secondary sources. So I'm going to show you a primary source. And remember, a primary source is something like a photograph that shows exactly, captures a moment in time exactly. This picture is of President Lyndon B. Johnson signing an amendment in 1967. The amendment tells when a vice president might become president. So if something were to happen to the president, then the vice president would take up the duties of the president. Okay? Now we have citizenship. the Constitution in the classroom. One right the Constitution gives us is freedom of speech. This means we are allowed to share our ideas with others. Here are some ways to make fair classroom rules about freedom of speech. Freedom of speech in the classroom. Raise your hand to share ideas. Everyone should get a chance to talk. 2, speak kind words to others. Treat your classmates like you want to be treated. 3, do not bully. If you have a problem, talk it out. School is a fun place to be when you get along. And 4, be honest. Use your voice to tell the truth. Okay, so now we just read about the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the right to vote, and the First Amendment. In your social studies book, you are going to first turn to page 121. So go ahead and pause if you need to. That's totally fine. Now, I'm going to do this graphic organizer with you, but I want you to think as we're doing it. I don't want you just to copy down the answers because that's not helpful. Then what's going to happen is I'm going to show you what you're going to do on your own. You're also going to be completing a graphic organizer. So this graphic organizer, this is our topic, how the Constitution helps us. Now, in the story that I just read, we talked about different ways that the Constitution helps us. This graphic organizer wants me to give it 1, 2, 3, to name 3 ways that the Constitution helps us. So, what's one way? Think about it. Okay, I hope you came up with this idea. It's a plan for making and following laws, right? So how does it help us? It's a plan for making and following laws. Now, you're going to notice there's a circle in your graphic organizer. In that circle is where you're going to write plan for making and following laws. So what's another way that the Constitution helps us? Well, we have the Bill of Rights in the Constitution, and that Bill of Rights is a list of our rights and freedoms. So, how does the Constitution help us? It tells our rights and freedoms. And that will be your second bubble in your graphic organizer. Before I go into the third one, I want you to think about, can you think about the last one? It's something we've talked about in the past. It's something people 18 and over can do, but in the classroom, everybody gets one. And what is it? The Constitution gives us, how does it help us? It gives us the right to vote. The right to vote. Okay? So, on page 121, this is the graphic organizer that we completed together. The topic is how the Constitution helps us. These are the details. 3 ideas, 3 details we got from the text about how the Constitution helps us. It gives us a plan for making and following rules or laws. It tells us our rights and our freedoms, and it gives us the right to vote. Very important things. Now, go ahead and pause it. Finish this up. We're going to continue working in this book. So what's going to happen is you're going to end up doing this graphic organizer on your own. But first, let's turn to page 116. So pause if you need to. If you don't need to, that's okay too. So again, remember, in this chapter and in this lesson, we're talking about how does the Constitution help our country? And down here you can see a picture of the Constitution, and the caption says the pages of the Constitution are on display in Washington, D.C. So that's really cool. If you go to Washington, D.C., you can actually go see the actual Constitution. Let's look at the next page, 118. So this is what's going to be really important for you, the three branches of government, because in your graphic organizer on page 120, you're going to be writing about the three branches of government. We'll get to that. So listen carefully. Follow along. Three branches of government. Long ago, leaders wrote the Constitution. The Constitution is the set of rules that explains how the government works. The government is a group of people who make decisions for a state or country. And remember, those people that make decisions are voted in by the people. So that's where our right to vote comes in. The leaders created a government with three branches or three parts. Congress is a group of leaders from each state. They make laws. So that's one of the branches. The next branch, the president makes sure that people follow laws. That's your second branch. Third branch, the Supreme Court makes sure laws are fair. The web shows the three branches of government. All the branches must work together to make sure the government works well. So if you look at page 119, this web shows the three branches of government, okay? The president, the Supreme Court, and Congress. Each one of these branches has a job to do, a specific role, a specific job they need to do, a responsibility, if you will. Your job is to finish that graphic organizer. So on page 120, you'll see your graphic organizer that looks like this, okay? The main idea is the Constitution names three branches of government. Your job is to write down the three branches of government. Not only are you going to tell us what the three branches are, we've done one for you, but you're going to tell us what that branch does. So let's use the one that is already done for you as an example. It says one branch is Congress, right? Congress makes laws. So the one branch is finished. It told you the name of the branch, Congress, and it told you what that branch does, makes laws. Your turn. You're going to go into your book. You can use the story that we read to help you with the answers. You're going to tell me what the second branch and the third branches are. That's your job. When you're done, you're going to take a picture of this page 120 and submit it on Seesaw. Okay? So to remember, today we were talking about the Constitution. And the Constitution has to do with our laws in our country. How the laws are made, how the laws are followed. And these three branches of government all have to do with those laws. All have a role or a part to play in making sure our country runs smoothly. That's why they have to work together, okay? So remember, the Constitution gives us a plan for our laws. It gives us a list of our freedoms and our rights, and it gives us the right to vote. Those are all very important things. So good luck. Don't forget to take your picture and submit your work. Bye, my friends.